the issue of having people, but not being satisfied with the quality of the work that they're submitting. And it may be that you're dealing with people who really you can't work with. But in many cases, that is not the situation at all. In many cases, when you have someone who you're delegating work to and they're not meeting your level of expectation for whatever reason, maybe they're not getting the work in on time, often the problem is not with the person delegating the delegatee, but the problem is often with the delegator, the person who is giving the work. The reason for this is delegators often have misplaced expectations. If someone is not giving you the quality work that you're looking for, it may be that you are not clear enough in describing what your expectations are about the kind of work that you're looking for. If they're not getting the work to you in a timely manner, maybe you have not trained that person sufficiently and made it clear how important meeting deadlines is to you. One of the ways that you solve all of these problems of not getting quality work is to embrace a philosophy that I call ownership. When people take on this feeling of ownership, they become more excited about doing the work. It's very different from a scenario where you are just dumping work on people and telling them to do it, which I like to refer to as dumpagation as opposed to delegation. When you just dump work on people, instead of taking pride, instead of taking ownership in the work, they resent it. They may feel that they can't do it. So they may actually go out of their way to put off doing it. And when they get around to doing it, they don't put their full 100% effort into it because they resent it, because they don't feel a sense of ownership. So the solution to getting people to do things in a way that you want them to do it is to help them embrace the sense of ownership. So how do you get people to take ownership? One solution is to start bringing people in earlier. A classic delegation technique is for you to talk with the client or talk with the customer, write down everything that you need to know about the situation, and then you go to the person you're delegating to and re explain everything to them. It's a huge waste of time. So the solution to that problem is to bring people in early, bring them in during the conversation with the client. You could literally say to the client, by the way, I'm delegating this to someone who's going to be helping me work on this. Rather than my having to explain all of this later, let me bring them in right now. Another way of helping people take ownership is to encourage them to ask questions of you. So as you're discussing the matter that you're working on, instead of simply, again, dumping it on them and telling them, this is what I want you to do, you encourage them to ask questions and give their thoughts and their input. If you want people to take on ownership, then you've got to encourage their questions and you've got to encourage the advice that they're giving, even though you may not agree with it initially.